In today's brief video, I want to review with you guys 10 common excuses that I would make to justify continuing to smoke weed or continuing to use nicotine products, even though I was struggling with active addiction. Once we can identify these excuses, we can start to call BS and finally put this addiction behind us. If you're new to the channel, my name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs, which are dedicated to helping people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content. And we just crossed 30K subscribers on here. And I want to give a big shout out to everyone who's tuned in along the way. Thank you so much for your time and energy. I promise to give that same energy and value your time in every video I make going forward, just as we have from the start. Excuse number one, I would go out of my way to Google how is weed healthy? The benefits of smoking weed. How is nicotine healthy? The benefits of nicotine. Nicotine as a neurostimulant. I would Google this stuff. You can find studies on either end of the spectrum. You can find things saying that it's detrimental to your health. You can find things saying that it's the best drug out there. It just depends on what you're looking for. And I think when we're stuck in active addiction, we're going to do our best to look for the research that supports continuing to use that drug, continuing to use this substance. Now, look, I'm well aware that there's health benefits when it comes to nicotine. There's certainly health benefits when it comes to THC. Not so much when it comes to alcohol, to be honest. Most of the health benefits out there in the research are just BS. And there's definitely no health benefits when it comes to smoking cigarettes. Don't go out of your way trying to justify something, even though it's making you physically and mentally feel like crap. Because the reality is, if you want to quit and you're trying to quit and you're watching this video, chances are you don't feel very good about things right now. Don't try and trick yourself into thinking that you feel good or thinking that you're doing something positive, because you know you're not. Excuse number two. I got to keep smoking with my friends. I got to keep smoking. I got to show up for my buddy Johnny. He loves smoking with me, and I'm going to let him down if I don't smoke with him. Or when my friends step outside to hit their vapes, I got to go out and rip some nicotine with them. I don't want them to feel like I'm being neglectful to them. This is such an excuse. It's such a lie, because the reality is these people are going to continue to smoke with or without you. That is a fact. There is no way around that. And this, I think, is a really common way that people will try and justify their addictions by just saying, you know, I'm going to continue to do this because I got to support so-and-so who also smokes, so-and-so who also drinks. Addiction recovery is about you. This is a time in your life where I want you to be selfish. I want you to put yourself first, and I want you to put your needs first. It's not about those other people that you're trying to please, okay? Another common excuse, and this one was costly. I would tell myself, I can afford this. It's not that expensive. Especially when I was getting out of school. Look, I was making money. Even though I was struggling, I was making money. So I'd say, oh, $10 a day isn't that bad on nicotine. $100 a week on, binge drinking and buying people drinks isn't that bad on alcohol. $50 a week on weed isn't that bad. I can afford this. It's no problem. Here's the thing. I didn't consider the cost to my health. I didn't consider the cost to my mental health. I didn't consider the cost to my energy levels, to my motivation levels. And when I think you add that up, it was actually extremely costly, because this stuff was really holding me back from achieving that next level of success in my career, in my relationships. All that money I was spending, yeah, granted, I guess I could have afforded it, but I also could have been investing it. I could have started this YouTube channel a long time ago, buying fancy camera equipment and microphones and doing stuff like that to grow my ad revenue, to grow my coaching business. So I was pretty ignorant to how much it was actually costing me. And I think most people with active addiction are. At the end of the day, addiction takes everything from a person. Whether someone's smoking cigarettes or takes smoking weed too far or using opioids, addiction stands to take everything from a person. So don't try and downplay the cost or boil the cost down to, oh, I can afford this. No one can actually afford addiction. You just can't. It's a brutal thing. It costs so much. Another common excuse I would make for myself, at least it's not meth. At least I'm not doing cocaine. At least I'm not an alcoholic. And this was such BS because at the end of the day, the symptoms and side effects of addiction, whether it's to smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, taking opioids, or you're a raging alcoholic, doesn't matter. They can look the same across the board. It's just a different drug. Smoking cigarettes, chain smoking cigarettes, when someone gets cancer, that has destroyed almost every aspect of their life. It damages your relationships. It damages your health. It damages your physical and mental health. It damages your finances because of the toll it's going to take on your health insurance and out-of-pocket costs. Okay? Dying from cancer of cigarettes or overdosing on opioids suddenly don't look all that different. Now, people will say, Dr. Frank, but marijuana, not that bad. I don't know, guys. I've talked to some people who have cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, and I would tell you what they're going through does not look that different from opioid withdrawal or something more hardcore, okay? So don't make that excuse for yourself. If you don't feel good, you don't feel good. You want to start doing things to feel better. And by telling yourself, well, at least I don't feel as bad as I might feel if I was doing opioids or cocaine, doesn't make any sense. This is another way that addiction is coming up with excuses for you to continue justifying your use. And guys, throughout this video, if I forget a common excuse that you normally come up with, let me know what it is in the comments so we can dismantle it and kind of break it down to point out how it's just addiction messing with you. All right, so, this was a big one that I've talked about before on this channel. It got me this far, so I must be doing something right. I remember Lil Wayne talking about, in the intro to his song, talking about purple drink, and he was saying, look, people are always harassing me about what's in my cup, but he's like, the stuff in my cup has made me far more successful, far more rich than you, a lot farther along in life than you are. So how about you don't worry what's in my cup? Because whatever's in my cup, purple drink, has gotten me really, really far in life. What Lil Wayne forgot to mention was all the famous people that we've seen die and overdose on purple drink who have lost everything because of this addiction. There's a YouTube channel I've been watching lately. No, Ben Mahala. He's the $250 million man. He's a real estate agent, little overweight, and he just chain smokes cigarettes nonstop. And I have a feeling if I sat down and talked to this guy and he was trying to quit smoking, that one of the excuses he'd be telling himself when it comes to quitting is, hey, cigarettes got me this far. Cigarettes were part of my success. Cigarettes were part of my journey, and they're a reason why I'm so successful. When in all reality, cigarettes actually stand to take away all the things that this man has worked so hard to build for him and his family. I bet if I talked to him about what it was that made him successful, it would be the grit, it would be the grind, it would be the perseverance, it would be the nonstop work ethic that this guy has had. Cigarettes just happened to be part of the picture, but they weren't responsible for his success. And I fell for making that mistake all the time, failing to realize that it was actually the addiction that might actually take everything away from me. And look, I'll give it this. Maybe in the beginning, there was some benefit to the drugs, some neurostimulation. You know, maybe weed did help me sleep, help me relax. Maybe weed did help me focus a little bit. But at the end of the day, that was only a short-term gain. Once you cross over to addiction, you lose all those short-term gains. I would literally Google, just like I would Google the health benefits of nicotine and weed, what successful people smoke. Who's successful who smokes? And I would look up all the successful Joe Rogan smokes weed. Oh, so-and-so smokes weed and they're successful. Oh, that business person I knew, that rich attorney or that rich doctor I know chews tobacco or vapes. So there must be something to nicotine. This is just not true because we're neglecting all the people whose lives have been made completely unsuccessful by these substances. And we can see that with the increased use of nicotine and marijuana and alcohol among a lower socioeconomic demographic, right? These companies understand that they can target people who don't have a lot of money and that they're typically going to be more apt to use these things. It's actually very, very sad and disgusting if you ask me. So yeah, don't just pick out the white horse. Look at it on a broad scale. Most people who are chain smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, and smoking weed are not super successful. But you will find some that are. You will find some that are, of course. Okay. Oh, yeah. Just on the weekends. Just one more. That was a very common excuse that I would make, that I would often use to suck me back into smoking after I would quit. Look, if I could do moderate use, I would have done moderate use, just like the millions of people out there with weed that use it moderately. I simply wasn't one of those people, and accepting that was something that I had to do in order to successfully quit. And the same thing went for nicotine and tobacco too. I couldn't go around saying, oh, I'll just chew tobacco at the country concert. I'll just use nicotine at night. This was BS, and it's an excuse that you're probably saying to yourself every day, and you got to call out your own BS. If you want to quit, you got to call out the BS, because it's BS. All right, I'll do this, but not that. What does that mean? I know exactly what that means. I would tell myself, I'm going to smoke dry herb, but I'm not going to use carts. I'm going to use carts, but I'm not going to use dry herb. I'm just going to smoke out of a vaporizer, or I'm just going to do edibles, because then I'm not smoking and damaging my lungs. I'm not going to vape. I'm just going to use nicotine pouches, because now I'm preserving my lungs, but I'm still damaging my jaw, so maybe I'll vape. I'll do this, but not that. All you're doing is using the same drug, just switching the form or the variation in what you're getting at. And this does nothing, absolutely nothing when it comes to helping you quit. So call that out. Don't fall for it. It's a common trap that addiction makes. It's probably something else causing my life issues. Oh yeah, I would make so many excuses as to why it wasn't nicotine, why it wasn't weed that was causing all my health problems, that was causing my mental and physical health problems. I would, if only I had put the amount of effort and energy into quitting that I would put into continually justifying smoking weed and vaping, quitting would have been 1,000,000 times easier. It would have been 1,000,000,000,000 times easier. But no, I always had to go back in my head and come up with a list of 10 plus excuses as to why I should continue to smoke, neglecting all the reasons that I should probably quit, or quickly discarding all of those things or not acting on them. I need it to sleep, work. I need it to focus. I need it to stay motivated. I need it to eat. Here was the reality. Maybe in the beginning, nicotine was a benefit. Maybe weed was a benefit. I've said that before, okay? And there are benefits. There are people who use it medicinally. And that's not the people that I'm talking to right now. I'm talking to the people who are suffering with addiction. All I was experiencing withdrawals. So I would quit and I wouldn't sleep. And I'd say, see, I knew it. I needed weed to fall asleep. I quit nicotine for 3 days. I feel terrible. I don't even want to go to work today. I don't even want to check my email today. See, I knew it. I need nicotine to focus. I need nicotine to get stuff done. I knew it. This was BS. All that was happening was I was suffering from withdrawal symptoms, and now I was using that addiction to justify, continue picking it up again. I was literally using withdrawals as a justification to start doing drugs again. Does that make any sense? It's insane. Those drugs were the cause of my problems, not the solution to my problems. So I hopefully after today's video, you guys drop some good excuses in the comments below, letting me know what excuses you make so we can break those excuses down. And then hopefully you guys start to call out your own BS after watching this and get to quitting, because quitting comes a lot easier when we call out our own BS. I'll see you guys in the comments below. Let's dismantle those other excuses together.